In 1630, Mumtaz Mahal accompanied Shah Jahan on a military campaign to the Deccan Plateau. This would be the last journey the pair would take together. On June 17, 1631, Mumtaz Mahal tragically died giving birth to their 14th child. She suffered a fatal postpartum hemorrhage. She was only 37 years old. Legend has it that on her deathbed, her last request of the emperor was for him to erect a symbol or monument for their love, and that he never marry another wife. Her grief-stricken husband agreed immediately. Her body was temporarily laid to rest in Burhanpur in a walled pleasure garden known as Zainabad. Just as there was an unusually large amount of detail written about the couple's love for each other, a great deal was also written about Shah Jahan's grief in the wake of losing his precious Mumtaz. The emperor was reportedly inconsolable. It is said that Shah Jahan was so devastated by Mumtaz's death that he ordered the court to go into mourning for 2 years. During this time, Shah Jahan himself went into secluded mourning for a year. When he emerged, his back was bent, his hair had turned stark white, and his face was greatly aged. The pleasure garden at Burhanpur was never intended to be Mumtaz's final resting place. Her body was disinterred in December of 1631 and was transported in a golden casket back to Agra. Her son Shah Shuja and her head lady-in-waiting escorted the casket through the journey. Once back in Agra, her body was interred in a small building on the banks of the Yuma River. Shah Jahan had stayed behind in Burhanpur to complete his military campaign that had originally brought him to that region. During his remaining time there, he began designing a mausoleum and funerary garden for his wife. This mausoleum would become known as the Taj Mahal. Boom! Okay, let's talk a little bit about this amazing mausoleum. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not very knowledgeable about architecture, so this is going to be a fun facts overview of the Taj Mahal. So the Taj Mahal is located in Agra, India, and covers 42 acres along the west side of the Yamuna River. It is an immense structure composed primarily of white marble. The Taj Mahal complex includes a large garden, a reflecting pool, a mosque, and other mausoleums. One of the structure's most recognizable features is a large white dome, often called an onion dome due to its shape. It has a height of around 35 meters, or 115 feet, and is surrounded by 4 smaller domes. The full height of the Taj Mahal is 171 meters, or 561 feet. Building this structure was a massive undertaking. Realizing Shah Jahan's vision required the labor of 22,000 slaves, laborers, and artisans. Masons, stonecutters, inlayers, carvers, painters, calligraphers, dome builders, and other skilled artisans were procured from all over Central Asia and Iran in order to build this great monument. More than 1,000 elephants were employed for the transportation of construction materials. The Taj Mahal is a unique blend of Islamic, Persian, and Indian architectural styles. Passages from the Quran are used as decorative elements throughout the complex. On the sides of the actual tomb of Mumtaz Mahal, 99 names of Allah can be found as calligraphic inscriptions. As many as 28 different varieties of semi-precious and precious stones were used to adorn the Taj with exquisite inlay work. Many of these stones were ripped off its walls by the Britishers during the Indian Rebellion of 1857. Depending on what time of day it is and whether or not there's moon at night, the Taj Mahal's white facade appears to be many different colors throughout the day. Some even believe that this changing pattern of colors depicts the different moods of a woman. You can't see me right now, but I'm giving so much side-eye to whoever made that comment. The Taj Mahal was built in stages, with the plinth and the tomb taking roughly 15 years to complete. The building of minarets, mosque, jawab, and gateway took an additional 5 years to finish. Altogether, it took a total of 22 years to construct. There are many theories about the origin of the name Taj Mahal. One theory is that Taj is an abbreviation of the name Mumtaz. Some of the first people to call the tomb the Taj Mahal were actually European travelers. Since it is unlikely that these travelers came up with the name themselves, the hypothesis is that they picked up the name from the locals of Agra. Locals called the empress Taj Mahal, and the Europeans may have thought that the tomb was also called that name. However, this is all just speculation since we have no firm evidence to back up these claims. Mumtaz's body remained at Burhanpur for 23 years until the Taj Mahal was completed. Unfortunately for Shah Jahan, his son Aurangzeb possessed the same violent ambitions that his father had in his youth. Aurangzeb successfully plotted to seize the throne from his father, and Shah Jahan was imprisoned in the Red Fort in Agra. His only consolation was a view of the Taj Mahal, which lay just across the river. Shah Jahan died in 1666. His body was placed in the tomb next to Mumtaz Mahal's. Shah Jahan never intended to be buried next to his wife, which is why Mumtaz's tomb is placed in the center of the mausoleum and Shah's is placed asymmetrically to the side. It's not clear whether Aurangzeb made this decision so that his father could be laid to rest with his true love, or if Aurangzeb just didn't want to fork out the funds to build an additional mausoleum. The Taj Mahal is considered to be one of India's most admired works of art. The monument and surrounding grounds attract between 2 and 4 million visitors annually, including over 200,000 visitors from overseas. The name Taj Mahal means crown of the palace, and it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. This wraps up our episode on Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to check out the Salacious History page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @SalaciousHist, that's SalaciousHist. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider sharing this on social media and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps to get the word out about the show. You can partner with me on patreon.com to help support this one-woman operation and get access to special bonus content. If you have questions, corrections, funny stories, or ideas for future episodes, you can email me at salacioushistory@gmail.com. I'm Sarah Duncan. See you next time.